Welcome to the Women of Soul Aligned Business Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Che. I am here with Beliza Perez. She's a child therapist for the last 16 years, qualified supervisor for interns, working towards license, and she's built multiple businesses too now, full fee solo practice child therapy, and really just a heart to be helping kids and their families. Really excited to be with you. Welcome, Beliza.
Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Beliza, let's start out. You've been doing this for 16 years. Were you educated in business or did you have to learn it the hard knocks way?
I learned it the hard knocks way. My family owned a couple of businesses, so I knew like little things on the side, but nothing when it comes to launching your own business.
Okay, so 16 years prior, younger Beliza starting out and being like, I'm going to do this thing. I have this mission. I want to help kids. I want to help their family. Rewind with all the knowledge that you have now, the experience, that school of hard knocks. What would you tell that younger Beliza, 10, 15 years ago?
I would tell her to get a minor in business. I would say if you are going to even seriously consider any business that you want to launch or start or whatever create, is get a minor in business. I wish I would have done that.
What do you think that would have done for you? Because clearly you made it, right? You're doing
Yes.
okay. You survived the ups and the downs. You figured it out.
Yes.
And what do you think that would have done for you?
I think it would have given me a quicker, clear path how to get there. Because I think sometimes when you don't know something, you're just kind of like digging around, you're researching a lot. Time and energy are spent that could have gone in other places. And you just have a knowledge base that is really, really helpful. And it's something that I feel like when I was younger, right, I had more energy. My bandwidth was a little bit different. I would have absorbed that a lot quicker and been able to really take off with it quicker, I think.
I think there's a couple things that could be useful. Like if you're going to a really good school, you can make great networking and your friends are running businesses that you can intern for. But the knowledge, the business knowledge in the degree that I got, which was not an incredible degree, quite frankly, it was a community college and I've had to learn from making way too many mistakes. The accounting was useful. The accounting concepts were useful for me, but not a lot else was that useful for me.
Well, that's good to know.
Lisa, if you could tell your younger self, what were some of the big challenges that you had opening up your own practice?
I would say it was knowing, like having a good roadmap, like knowing that I should have been networking and planning things way ahead of the time I actually opened my business. Really making connections, like you were saying, with other people and really knowing who's out there, the best area to open my business in for families and for kids, and just knowing the stats of where my office would be located, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And the numbers, just knowing how to market your rate and knowing your worth, knowing, okay, so if I started at 125, being able to sell that and being able to, when people reach out to you, say, this is why I charge 125, here is my worth, and this is what you're going to get with my services.
Did you start there though, or did you work up to that?
No. The first 3 years of my business, it was a hot mess. Did not know what I was doing. I was working 3 jobs. I was so busy just trying to pay rent that I didn't have a solid roadmap. It wasn't until I got a consultant and I really started learning what I needed to do that things took off year 4.
Wow. So really having someone come in, was it a specific consultant for your industry?
Yep.
And so having someone come in and actually give you some advice and look at what you got, that's when you saw your business really take off.
That was the game changer.
I mean, that was your business degree right there.
Yes.
It's interesting because maybe that is even more relevant because having someone that's been through it, they know the industry, they know how much you should be charging, they know your worth, and sometimes they're validating you and saying, hey, listen, you shouldn't be charging $45 an hour, you should be charging $125 an hour. You're like, oh, wait a second, I can do that? Is that what and being able to just hear that from someone else, sometimes hearing it from someone else is like literally can change your own mindset.
Yes, but also hearing somebody else reflect to you your why you're worth that. So my consultant at the time, I remember this every day. He said, Beliza, if you weren't worth 125, I wouldn't be telling you to charge 125. I wouldn't even be consulting with you. He was like, you have the degree, you have a lot of experience, you have passion, you have a high retention rate. Those are the things that just make you a really, really good therapist. You can really literally walk through a family's life. Like they look at you and they're like, how do you know that? And I can say, I just know that this is what you're going through. So just hearing somebody else really literally take your resume and say it to you, you're like, that is me. Yes,
Yeah.
that's me.
Did you feel a lot of entrepreneurs, most entrepreneurs, and I felt this for myself, the imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
right? Like, should I be here? Am I qualified enough? Am I good at enough? Is there too much
Yes.
competition out there? So
Yes,
you
especially in our
felt
field.
that also.
Yes,
How did
especially
you
in the
get
healthy
through that?
field. It was really knowing a couple different factors. It was knowing that I also have a quality of life that I want to have. I don't want to be stressed out over student loan payments. I don't want to be stressed out over just basic stuff that I was stressing out over working my other jobs, plural. It was just knowing that I do love my job. I'm a really, really good therapist. My retention rate was sick. It's still sick. And what I bring to the table for families is really, really important and really, really helpful to them. And bottom line, that's it. That's the base of everything.
In this imposter syndrome that we all have, finding your worth can be really hard, right?
Yes,
It's
yes.
really a mindset shift. And the other thing I heard you talking about, which is something that most of us go through, is functioning out of scarcity mindset, right? When you're
Yep,
in that place where you're struggling to pay the bills, you got kids, they're in school, you're trying to give them the good education, whatever it is, right? We tend to make bad decisions when we're in
yep,
scarcity mindset because
yep.
we know it's like, okay, I want to take this client at $125 an hour, but I really need this money to be paying the bills, so I'm going to take it for $50 or 60 or whatever it is, right? Or like not buying the right tools that we need to deliver a higher quality experience for people.
Or
So
the
we get,
trainings, the
yeah, or
trainings.
investing in yourself and whatever it is. When we're operating on this scarcity mindset, it can really put a ceiling on our own income and put a
Yep,
ceiling in the energetics that we're putting out into the world of this kind of
in our
like,
capacity.
yeah. How
Yep.
did you get through? I hear that there was some of this for you. How did you get through that?
It was literally just session by session. Every single time somebody said yes to my rate, I was like, okay, I can do this. Every single time the clients came back, every single time I got feedback, I was like, okay, this is great. This is working. It's the proof is in the pudding. It's there. People are coming back. They're paying the fee. They're getting better. They're referring friends. They're referring, other people. And that helped build that. And also just knowing that, like, as I was seeing my income increase and I was able to pay off my student loans, I'm like, having that off the plate just opened up such an opportunity to be able to do so many other things. Being able to give back to my community, being able to do a higher level of trainings, and just seeing what that opens up. I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. I can't ever turn back.
So if there is a woman out there or person out there who's just operating on that scarcity mindset and they're just constantly looking to pay the next bills, how would you suggest they jump from one place to another?
I'm a big believer in baby steps. I know some people, I just think that it has to start with one client at a time, for example, applying for a different job, something that is going to be a baby step in the direction that I'm headed in. What is one thing that's going to help me get closer to that goal? And I think sometimes those baby steps before you look back and you're like, wow, I've made it half a mile.
They say the long journey starts with one step, right? So,
Literally. Yeah.
and did you commit to working on your vision and passion every day or
Yes.
most days?
Because I feel like again, I don't want to be extreme, but you have to be really invested and almost like, this is my breath. This is my breath every single day. This is who I am. And this is really important to me. Because these days, it's really easy to get lost and to get distracted. And if you're not doing one thing every day toward your goals, it just makes it that much harder. And once the ball is rolling, it's like, okay, been doing this 6 months now. I have momentum. This is really happening now. It gets easier to do this every day because it's growing. It's a muscle. And it's easier to wake up, do my meditations, reach out to potential clients. It's build on itself. And I think that there's a lot of times we don't, these days it's just harder for people to like be consistent and to just stick at it and keep trying and keep trying.
Lisa, I love that. Committing to walk that mile step by step every day, you're going to get there. And even when things feel really hard or really daunting, I mean, there's been many times where I'm just like, I don't know if I should do this anymore. The money's not great. I don't feel like I'm serving the people I'm supposed to be serving. And it's usually just missing a component. It could be missing that marketing component or that sales component. It could be missing the offer component. And it's really trying to identify what part of my business isn't working and how do I make improvements on it.
Exactly.
I
And
really
not being afraid to say, this isn't working. Here are my strengths and my weaknesses. And what am I going to do about it? What's my plan here?
And then finding that weakness and really finding the who that has the how that can upgrade that. For me, it's been a big one about like, I've always, in all my businesses, I got really good at SEO or I've always had someone managing ads, or quite frankly, I didn't need to use ads very often. And in some of these new businesses, it requires that. And it's like trying to figure that out. It's like, what? I've been hiring people at it and they're not good at it. So I can't find anyone good to do it. So it's like I made a commitment, like I'm going to get good at this, understanding these metapixels and these conversion tracking rates and it doesn't take that much. All of us can do the thing, right?
Yeah.
There's all the components of business. There's information out there to get good at it. If we can just say, you know what? Yeah, maybe this is not my forte, but let me learn enough to get good at it myself or learn enough to know how to speak to someone that's good at it so I can identify if they're good at it.
Yes.
And then I can just hire them. And, have you had to hire people along the way, or is this like you just had to learn it all yourself?
So a lot of consulting. I have had a lot of 2 or 3 different consultants along the years who have helped me with different phases and of my growth and the direction that I want to head in. So
Mhm.
a lot of consulting, a lot of books. I'm just watching a lot of videos. I mean, I follow a lot of people who I think are helpful, and
Mhm.
watching their videos, watching their feedback, what they went through, very helpful.
So listening to podcasts like this, other podcasts, people that
Hmm.
have been through it has been really helpful. These
Yes.
consultants that you're hiring, did it feel hard to do that the first time? Like, were you worried this is going to be a waste of money?
100%. Because when you don't have a lot to give, the little bit that you have feels intense and feels a lot, because it is. But I mean, within 30 days, like I started seeing the results. I was like, oh, they know what they're talking about. Like, they're well worth it. I can quickly see the results, but also how I felt about it and that connection. It made sense. My
Mhm.
gut said, this is good. They're right. They're solid. And we're going to keep trying this.
Would you recommend women in their how many years in before they need a consultant? You think this is something, if they can find
Year
someone
one.
year one, boom.
Year one. If you don't have a direction, if you are not clear, if you don't have support, if you are just kind of uncertain, you need clarity. So I would recommend a consultant right off the bat.
Beautiful. I think that's some great advice. Honestly, I very rarely hear that from people that they've stepped up. I've heard people that have gotten mentors or coaches. To be honest with you, coaches, I'm always a little wary of them. I'm in Bali, so there's a
Yeah.
lot of coaches, and to me, the difference between a mentor and a coach is a mentor's been through the things that you're going through, and a
Yes.
coach hasn't. And they still have very great tools to help you figure things out, but
But it's
really,
different.
yeah, but it's hard to find a mentor that really
Yeah.
that you resonate with, that you can trust
Hmm.
and listen to, because you get the wrong person, they can lead you in the wrong direction for sure. So it's like
The right
one,
fit.
yeah, one, I think that they're really for me, for that resonation, and two, they've had the experience and the knowledge that can actually, guide me and tell me, use this software, hire this type of person. Let me introduce you to
Hmm.
someone that's going to help you. It's going to bring you more clients or help you with your finances or whatever it is, or use this accounting software and get off jotting stuff down on a piece of paper,
Yeah.
whatever it is. So that's the difference. So it's interesting to hear you say that. I don't hear that from a lot of people. Or maybe you were just smart enough to know that that's what you needed.
That's one of the things I would have told my younger self, is instead of waiting 3 years in and you're flailing about, wasting money, I would have told myself, younger self, year one, let's find a consultant. Because
Yeah.
those 3 years were just, I mean, did I learn stuff? Sure. Was I growing? Sure. but it was just not at the pace and not at the ability. And it wasn't as fruitful as once I started the consulting.
Makes sense. Well, I love that, Beliza. Thank you for that. And I'm really curious, you've been doing this for a long time. I always like to know why are you doing this? Like, why should you be doing this, not something else? Maybe there's things that are better money, maybe there's not, but like, why do you do this, Beliza?
This has been my passion since I was 14 years old. I knew I wanted to work with people. I was fascinated by why we do what we do, why we say what we say, why we act the way we act. I've just always been fascinated with human beings. And a little girl from Brooklyn wants to change her little part of the world.
Yeah.
And to be able to represent other women who look like me, sound like me, feel like me is important. That they see that successful Latinas are out there and that we are progressing and that we are successful in business, in ourselves, in the community. That's very important.
And that's why you're on the show as a soul aligned business. That's your why. And it's so important to be in that. And it's beautiful to see your passion and that emotion with it. And I'm just imagining all the kids that have better families, relationships with their families, and all the parents that are learning from you. And I'm really grateful for you and people like you who are doing this work and are committing to it. My partner is a psychologist, and it's just amazing to watch how tools can really make big differences and that
Connection.
connection. I mean, I literally wrote the first comprehensive framework for human connection. I have a book coming out on December 8th because it's true. Like, I know what it feels like to be the kid that's sitting by themselves or gets beat up or made fun of and small and the weirdo, the neurodivergent. And it looks that way in so many ways, whether it's your gender or your sexual orientation or the way that your brain works or your skin color. It's like, it sucks to feel left out. It
Yep.
sucks to do that, to feel that. And kids are fucking cruel sometimes too.
Mm-hmm.
Learning these skills as a child is going to make better adults.
Oh, yeah. And that they know that they're okay, that it's not about being weird, different, something's wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. Everybody's got stuff. Everybody has a shit sandwich that they're eating. They just don't talk about it. So it's really letting them know that they're amazingly wonderful as they are. They just need probably a little bit of support, a little bit of help, tools, standing, knowing their brain and body. That's what they need.
Beliza, are you doing stuff online also, or is the only way to get to you to, go visit Winter Springs, Florida?
So I do some virtual. It just really depends on the case, and it really depends on whether or not the child is really good on a screen.
Okay. I don't know.
So
Most of the kids are pretty good on screens. I think they might be better than we are these days.
yeah, but doing therapy on a screen is very different than like playing a game. So yeah, but I do see my interns as on usually online.
Amazing. So if you're resonating with Beliza, please look her up. Fam_Gabs. If you
Gabs,
want to
yes.
resonate, drop us a note if you're resonating with this. Drop a comment. Share this if you think this is useful. It's always nice to spread the love and the word of people doing great things in the world. So Beliza, thank you so much for being on the Women of Soul Aligned Business Podcast.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you.
You too. Everyone have an amazing night. Take care.